The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show...
You shall not pass!
Hey friends, and welcome back to the Film Addicts podcast. I'm here with Addy, and my name's Reegs, obviously. Hello. What's going on, mate? What are you doing? What's you turn your heater on or off?
I'm turning my AC on.
This should be air conditioning, yeah, heater in fucking your country. Absolutely not. What's been going down?
Oh, so much stuff.
Yeah? How are you feeling after all of your bits and pieces, so to speak?
I'm doing okay. I'm still recovering. I finished a D&D campaign for the first time.
Fantastic.
I was DMing and I had 3 of my childhood friends as players.
Would you go so far as to say you slid into them DMs? I know it's a euphemism for direct... No, I know it's not a euphemism. It's an abbreviation for both direct message and Dungeon Master, but I thought I'd throw it out there. Cox. And okay, so you and 3 friends, and what were they doing? So you're just sitting there and going, hey, this is what's up. Here's a troll beast. Here's a dragon with tits. You know, here's Faramir and Boromir and Oromir and all them cats. And your friends are who?
My friends are the actual players of the game. Like, they're the main characters. You know,
I understand that, but what are they? Are they elf people or djinn or nymphs? Or...
So one of them was an Aarakocra, which is a bird person.
A bird person?
Yes. One of them was
That's pretty cool.
One of them was a Gerbine, which is a rat person.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was a gnome.
I think I'd go rat person out of all those 3. I don't know. A gnome? What are you going to do? Make someone's garden look nice?
Well, it's not those kind of gnomes. These are actually humans, but like shorter than hobbits, probably. Right.
Okay. I don't think you're supposed to call them gnomes. Then you're supposed to call them little fantasy people.
They're classified as gnomes in the lore of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, I'm just saying it's 2024. You got to be dungeon progressive. That's otherwise you get in trouble. You get someone out shouting at you, going, "Can't say no."
My gods are formless queer people. What else do you want?
You should get that on a t-shirt. My gods are formless queer people. And speaking of formless queer people, we're talking about Lord of the Rings. There's lots of formless queer stuff going on here. Actually, there's not really, but it was a decent enough segue. It's fantastic. We've been talking about doing it for a really long time. Since I remember talking about it way back when we did the Spider-Man, the Legacy of Spider-Man episodes, and you said we're going to need to do Lord of the Rings at some point. I rewatched Fellowship the other night, the extended edition, and it fucking rules, man. It's I was saying the other day to someone, it's old Hollywood, and that was it. That was the end of it. They don't make movies like that anymore. It didn't have the bigness. You don't see that anymore outside of, franchises that are more than a trilogy or a quadrilogy or whatever. Like, we're talking about the actual multiverse shit and DC and all that stuff. And the score and the attention to detail and the sets and all that stuff, that's just not something that's done anymore. That has gone away, so much so that Damien Chazelle made a movie about how they don't do that anymore in Babylon. But what I want to talk about before we get into some nerd news, everyone. For new listeners, we have a nerd news segment, and I never fucking say it. I always go meh meh or make a super sound because I'm on cocaine all the time. It's just cocaine. Cocaine. Read here as tea. What is it about? Like, when did you discover Lord of the Rings? Because when it came out, I was in my first year at university. So it was 2001 was the first one, right?
Yes.
So you would have been...
Not even a fetus.
Not even a baby. Fuck my hole! All right, not even a baby. How did you enjoy it when you were spunk? When you were a human semen, how did you enjoy Lord of the Rings? I'm going to have to ask for an answer here on that question.
I have... Fuck.
Just a little sperm swimming with a tiny shield and a tiny glowing sword going, meepee. Don't know why I had to make the noise. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. When did you discover these films then?
I have known Lord of the Rings my whole life. Like, it's like mythology to me. Like, it's always existed. Like, I don't ever remember a time where I didn't know who Frodo was or who Gandalf was. Or not knowing how I felt when Gandalf died.
It's still affecting. It's still affecting that scene, I'll tell you. Run, you fools. Just brilliant. We'll get into Ian McKellen because he is by far the standout of these movies. So was it your parents? Because your parents are actually closer to my age than, we're close in age. So was it them? Did they show it to you?
Yes, I would certainly say so.
Yeah, right. So you don't remember a time of not knowing. It's like me with Jaws. You don't remember not knowing about these films. And of all three of them, which one's your favourite? Remembering that the answer is Fellowship.
I would still probably say Fellowship.
It really holds up. Like it's such a complete piece, It
is, and like it doesn't like there's more to the story for sure. And it leaves on a cliffhanger, but it's not like, oh man, I can't wait. Like, it is, I can't wait to see what happens. Like, but also, like, wow, this was just amazing in its own. And, like, Two Towers is incomplete, mostly because it's part 2 of a three-part story. But, like, the last 2 hours of it is fucking Helm's Deep. And, there's a hard-on for 2 hours.
It's amazing. Yeah, what was it, like... 6 months of night shoots or something. We'll get into Two Towers next week, but incredible effort to make that work. And I remember Peter Jackson talking about in the special features, he's like, especially with the Two Towers, that the back heavy battle nature of that film, and also Return of the King, he was worried people would get battle fatigue because there's just so much of it going on. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is Fellowship. It's a fucking slapper. But before we get all the way into all of our Lord of the Rings-ish, folks, ladies, gentlemen, and people of all sorts, animals, trees, figs, let us know in the comments what your favourite Lord of the Rings is. It doesn't have to be Fellowship, it's totally fine. Maybe you like the TV show. Maybe you fucking love the TV show. That would be awesome if you do. Or maybe you like the Hobbits'. Addy's a huge fan of that. He sent me a message yesterday. What did you say about the most recent episode of Rings of Power? You said, I was masturbating my penis and anus at the same time.
You know what's weird? That sounds exactly like me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're into orcs. No, you didn't say gross things like that. You said, whatever, don't orc shame.
I'm not doing any of that.
I'm a bit manic, aren't I? I was just chopping wood. Isn't that very rustic and Lord of the Rings-ish of me to get my XP points up? Not really. We just need firewood, so I was splitting some. So I'm a little bit buzzed. But, you were saying that the most recent... Because it's season 2 of Rings of Power. And what episode was it that was so amazing?
Season 2, episode 7 is a 1 hour long battle scene. And you can see all of it. Like you take all the amazing... battle scenes from Game of Thrones, and this has nothing like Game of Thrones has nothing over this one episode that they did.
Yeah, wow.
Like it fucking shows in that episode why it's the most expensive series ever made, because you can see everyone fighting, and it's real people.
Lord of the Rings it's the most expensive series, you're saying, or
Rings of Power is the most expensive series ever made.
Is that really? I suppose it would have to be, wouldn't it? Because fucking everything is fake. Not fake as in like not real on camera. I mean like nothing's real. Like you can't go, oh, we'll just shoot in the street kind of situation. It'd be pretty funny if it was like all of this, amazing woods and forests and ents and battles and all that stuff, and it just cuts to a shot of 2 guys dressed up as elves standing in the middle of New York or something. It's like, yeah, we ran out of budget for that one shot, so that's literally outside the Water and Power in New Jersey.
If Deadpool was making that show, that would happen.
Yeah, of course it would.
And it would be Deadpool and Wolverine in elf cosplay. Like you could see their costumes underneath it.
Like, you could see lots of things, especially with the way that they're both so yoked. Mushroom caps. Anyway, I like the idea. Jumping ahead to nerd news here, they're talking about Jackman and Reynolds being the hosts for the Oscars. I might watch it again if that's the case. What am I waiting for?
Well, we do go by segments, so we skipped over what are we watching.
No, I know. I just was saying, like, we did that, yeah. But you would recommend Rings of Power for anybody who's a Lord of the Rings fan? Because I know people are contentious about it because there's black elves or whatever the fucking the problem is.
Oh, I would recommend it.
Oh, good. Okay, that's it. There's nothing that glowing. I wanted to make. Can we get that on a book jacket? Fuck yes, I would recommend it.
Yeah, it's amazing because it gives me a chance to talk to people about the fucking Valar and, Morgoth and the time where, elves were scared that they were going to die. And the start of the hateful relationship between the dwarves and the elves.
Are any of these people the same characters that you find in the movies, or is it set much, much earlier?
It is set much, much earlier, but we do have Galadriel, we have Elrond, and we probably maybe have Gandalf. We don't know.
But it's not... None of them are played by the people that are in the movies.
And for good reason.
Right. How is it that New Line Cinema doesn't exist anymore, does it?
It doesn't.
So maybe that's how Amazon got a hold of it.
Well, so Amazon does not own the rights to the Lord of the Rings. They own the rights to passages from the Silmarillion on which the show is based.
Christ. My God, that's the most... That's literally someone, like, eating ass for IP, like finding the crevice of IP to mine stuff from.
Yeah, like you know that, and then you watch the show, and like there's no lack of passion there. Like okay, for me, why the show works is like I don't care about the inconsistencies or like the fucking weird ass criticism that it gets. For me, it feels like a D&D party, and these writers are like actual D&D players telling this story, and I just watch it for my love of fantasy, and it scratches that itch because my love of fantasy started with Lord of the Rings.
We'll get into that a bit more very shortly, but before we do that, do you want to talk about what we've been watching?
Yes, please.
Are you just going to talk about Lord of the Rings again?
Probably, but maybe something more.
Awesome. I've got a couple of interesting things too. What are we
watching?
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for our theme songs. Funnily enough, next week I'm shooting a music video for Johnny.
Let's go!
For his song Kindred Spirits. Yeah, man. It's going to be fat. It's all about him like possessing the crowd and stuff, and they all like turn into him. Like they all end up with hoodies on dancing and shit. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like the fucking blood rave scene in Blade. Very fun times. Cool. Well, you go ahead and tell me what you've been watching, because that's exciting to me.
Well, I've been watching The Rings of Power, Season 2, which is amazing. There are flaws. It runs into the same flaws as the films, which is there's a lot going on in different storylines that has to somehow be completed. And the beauty of the show is that it doesn't have to all culminate by the end of the season, because it's a show. There are arcs that these characters will go through, and this is the start of that.
Yeah, right. And it's how many episodes per season, just out of interest?
Yeah, that's what bothers me, because it's 8 seasons and I have to wait 2 years now for season 3. I have been really enjoying Only Murders in the Building, because it's the only show that just keeps coming back every year with a new season and is still just very consistent in their mysteries. It is very entertaining, very gripping, very funny. Everyone's great in it.
This is the last season of it too, isn't it?
No, I think season 5 is.
It's 4. Currently 4. It's not a surprise that it comes out with any regularity, because Steve Martin and Martin Short are fucking workhorses, man. They've been doing this since before half of that cast were born. They ain't no fucking around, you know. There's actually a really good documentary on Apple TV about Steve Martin, like a 2-part documentary that's really good if anyone gets a chance to see it. Yeah, I've got to get back into that. We haven't. That's one of me and Emily shows, and we watch that together. And she's in the middle of a season, so we haven't had a chance to yet. What else?
Yeah, season 4 is more Steve Martin focused, which is good because he is just brilliant in every scene.
Yeah, he's amazing. What a performer. There's a movie that came out early in his career called Pennies from Heaven, and the other day I saw a clip from it in which he was tap dancing with a level of profiteroles. He was juggling them and got cream everywhere. No, a level of proficiency that I didn't know that he had as a performer, doing tap and playing banjo at the same time. It was fucking amazing.
Wow, who was that?
I don't know. Don't know who that guy is.
He's the pirate in his early days.
Yeah, but yeah, when he was a don, when he was a lord, before he lost all of his money and started drinking rum, and then became Irish all of a sudden. Don't know what the fuck. Anyway, Only Murders in the Building. Anything else? Fun? Any movies? Any cinema?
Oh, I haven't been to cinema in a long time.
Any cinema? Terrible joke. It's a fucking shocking joke. Delete that later, Regan, you idiot.
No, keep it in.
Keep it in. No, I've got it now. I can't be bothered finding that one joke. So, I guess I haven't been to the movies. Have you watched any movies though?
Here's the thing. I know that I watched like a few, but I don't know what I watched.
Make a list. Go on Letterboxd and find it.
I know. That's what I'm doing.
In the interim, I'll talk about something that maybe we... hang on, sorry. My dad's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
He was just replying to a birthday message. Yeah, happy birthday, Dad. I know you probably don't listen to the show because there's lots of people saying cock and fanny, and I know how much of a religious fanatic you are. He's not really. I just don't think he knows our podcast because he's 71 years old. You might have watched this too. The Penguin? You're not watching The Penguin?
No.
Damn. I'm watching The Penguin.
I know. I'm excited for you to talk about it.
It is the business, I'll tell you. Colin Farrell, I said this the other day on the episode of Podcast Assemble that I guested on. We were talking about things that we'd watched and whatever. And only the first episode had come out at that point. I watched the second episode last night. Colin Farrell's had a funny career. He even said it himself in that video you sent me where he was sitting around the round table, you know, with all the other actors who were nominated for Best Actor that year. There was Ke Kwan and Brendan Fraser and such. And he was like, I came on the scene with this kind of moxie and this like I don't care kind of attitude and was given, you know, the keys to the kingdom and all the money in the world, and he realised that he was shit. And I disagree. I think there's some really stunning performances in his early career. The Rookie's pretty good. You know, it is what it is. But sorry, not The Rookie, The Recruit. He's great in Tigerland, the Joel Schumacher war picture. He's really good in Phone Booth. He's fucking SWAT and Total Recall. They're all totally watchable, and he's a totally watchable person, and he fucking commits. But after he made Alexander, he's right in when he says, like, he was like, I looked around and went, fuck, I'm not good at this job. I need to reset. And then he came back with these stellar performances, you know, making the two Yorgo films, Yorgo Lanthimos films, Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer. He was great in The Beguiled. You know, he's fantastic in Bruges, just like complete 180. Really interesting work, and he's slowly but surely doing TV as well. You know, the second season of True Detective people have a problem with it. I don't think it's as bad as everybody says it is, but it's certainly not the first season. But he's great in it. You know, that's whatever that is. He was really great in the remake of Fright Night, which isn't a fantastic movie, but him and Anton Yelchin are great in it. R.I.P. by the way. And he's got really interesting technique of how he acts, and he's done some more TV. And and then Banshees of Inisherin, I'm like, this guy is one of the best character actors working today. And I think he's probably in my top 3. It'd be him, Adam Driver, like of people sort of, you know, who are in their prime. I'm not talking about your De Niro's and Pacino's and all those people, but people who are working right now who are kind of that age, like late 30s, early 40s kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's him and Adam Driver are pretty high up there. But yeah, hang on. No, you don't, buddy. Okay. Thanks, Clark. Desperately trying to get behind my computer. So I've just put a picture online of my son, Clark, my little cat son. He's a furry little fucker. Yeah, he's just become this amazing character actor. And the Penguin's another example. Like, he just disappears. I know he's covered in latex, but he's a completely different person. So anyway, Colin, if you're listening, keep it up, mate. You're a great actor.
Should I check out the Penguin or no?
Do it, man. It is. It's basically The Sopranos, but in the Batman universe. Batman's not in it, but you've got... And it's a really great performance from... I'm going to have to look up her name.
Oh, the mother from How I Met Your Mother?
The mother from How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
I don't know. No, yes, that's right, yeah. So Sophia Falcone is played by Kristen Milotti. She is chilling. She's chilling. She's literally in a fridge the whole time. She's that chill. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Just love her work. And her and Colin just have the best fucking chemistry. Anyway, there's a really good podcast out there about it as well, hosted by Amy Nicholson. You should go and check it out. It's doing like an episode-by-episode breakdown. Yeah, anyway, did you have any movies?
Yes, so I forgot that I rewatched Heartstopper Season 1 and 2 in preparation for Season 3, which is coming out, and I'm panicking every moment because we don't know if Season 4 is coming out or not, and Season 3 seems to be very, very serious.
Okay, serious how? Does everybody get jobs or something? Start paying a mortgage?
No, it's the age going from, like, Season 1 and Season 2 are like your year 9 and year 10s, and this is your 11 and 12.
Right, okay, so it goes like by that, does it?
Well, yeah, I'm talking about, like, how serious life can get for that kind of, like, teenagers.
Oh, man, year 11 and 12 are the most serious years of your life by some people's standards. No, my question is, it goes by, because that's the Australian form system is, you know, it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is high school and all that. Is that what it is in the show? I don't know.
Heartstopper is a UK-based show.
Oh, okay. Right. I thought it was an American show. And how do you feel after binging that?
Oh, I binge it like maybe every 2 months because it's just... I love it, man. Like, it's gay people being gay and being happy. Like, what else? What else do you want?
That's absolutely right. That should also be on a t-shirt. Well, I'll just run through a couple of things that I watched really quickly. I've been on this 70s kick because I listened to... I recently did a road trip to Brisbane to visit my dad, but I had to drive because I was taking all this equipment with me, like filming equipment, to actually interview him over the course of a couple of days to make kind of a series of short documentaries about him and his life. He's quite an interesting dude. And for someone who's 71, he's got perfect recall. Like day and date kind of recall for, like, you know, whatever. There's some fucking stories I'll tell you offline about it, but Jesus, funny dude. Anyway, so I drove up, and as I was driving, I listened to... Quentin Tarantino wrote a book a few years ago called Cinema Speculation, and it's basically a recap of some of the most important movies made throughout the 1970s, and some bio stuff from him as well about his life as a young cinema goer. And so I listened to the audiobook of that, and it just got me on a kick of watching 70s movies again, you know, French Connection, Serpico, all that stuff. But also watched a few that I hadn't seen before, like Dirty Harry and Rolling Thunder. Rolling Thunder is about a guy who was a prisoner of war in Vietnam, comes back to his wife and son who he barely knows, and he gets his house gets, you know, robbed by a bunch of fucking beatniks, and they put his hand down the garbage disposal in the sink and shear his hand off, and he replaces it with a hook and then goes after him.
Holy shit.
And goes full fucking Liam Neeson tooken. And it is a straight tooken. That's a Key and Peele joke, everyone. I didn't make that up. It's a funny word. But anyway, it's a good picture. You know, I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, so just sort of reinvestigating that era of cinema, which is kind of my favourite, honestly. I just love it so much. You know, you're looking at something and it actually was there when they made it. It was on screen. When you see a helicopter, that was a fucking helicopter that they had a camera in front of. It's amazing. So that was really good. I tried to watch the Transformers series because I'm looking for something to restart the Stitch Up with. And I want to start with like a series. And I've now landed on something. It's not this, but I don't want to ruin it because it's for October. But anyway, more to the point, I've watched the first Transformers. I said I could watch all the Transformerses. There's only, 7? There's 1, 2, 3 with the Shia LaBeouf, who's quite good in Megalopolis, by the way. And if you want to hear about my opinions about Megalopolis, go to the Podcast Assemble episode on it that we're recording tomorrow, but it'll be out by now. And then you've got Mark Wahlberg in two of them. That's trouble for me because that guy can't act. You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather film one of the hamburgers that his fucking chain of diners makes doing the lines than him. Anyway, Wahlburgers. And then there's the one with Haley Steinfeld, which I love. Bumblebee was great. I thought it was really good. And then there was Beast Wars after that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Beast Wars was a good time. Spoilers, funny G.I. Joe cameo shit's going on at the end, but whatever, it was good fun. And I tried to watch the first one, and it is mind-numbingly bad. I couldn't even, so I just thought, nah, fuck it. But what I did watch the same night was Elektra, the sequel, sort of, to the 2003-2004 Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck and his then wife, or they met her on set and they became husband and wife there. Help me out with the name. She was just Elektra in...
Oh, Jennifer Garner?
Jennifer Gardner, yep. Yeah, she's gardening. She's at it all the time out there. Ridiculous. Is Mike Flanagan related to the Stitch Up reboot? No, he isn't. That was just a question that Addie asked me. Should have done that in question time. But yeah, I want to watch it because she was in Deadpool and they were making fun of that movie and I hadn't seen it. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I give it a whirl. It fucking rules. It's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe I went in with like really low expectations, but it was visually interesting. I know Rob Bowman directed it and he's a fucking piece of shit, but neither here nor there. She's really good in it. It's colourful. There's lots of flips going on and it's kind of like it's an anime in parts, and she's murdering people and I don't know. I don't know why anybody has a bad opinion about most things, but that in particular, I liked it. So yeah, go and check out Elektra, everyone. It's on the Disney Plus. How about you, gentle listener? Do you enjoy Elektra? Let us know if you enjoy Elektra in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Shall we do the thing that we do where there's news and it's about nerds? Yes,
but I also opened Letterboxd and I found out like 4 things that I watched that I forgot.
Oh, run through them quickly.
Well, I watched The Marvels again. Best MCU film ever made. Fuck off, internet.
You don't just tell the internet to fuck off. My goodness, careful.
It's my podcast.
Yes, you get your own fucking podcast. Oh, revisit that gag. Yeah, okay. So Marvels, very good.
I rewatched Mindhunter. Stupid that they cancelled it, but still pretty good.
Mindhunter's great.
I watched The Intern last night with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway.
That's one of Emily's favourite movies.
And I fucking loved it.
The same night you watched that, I think I watched Taxi Driver.
Yeah, wow.
What a spectrum. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet film. Like not sweet as in it's sweet, it's cool. Like if I was skateboarding, it's a sweet as in it's, you know, got a sweetness to it.
Yeah, as soon as he gets the job, I'm like, he's dying at the end of it, right? That's how it's supposed to, but no.
Hit by a fucking photocopier. Because he's in an office building. That was the joke. Yeah, no, it's a sweet movie. You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's probably Robert De Niro's best worker.
Hard disagree on that one, but it's, you know,
okay. It's his best
comedy.
work, second to only his part in Joy and Silver Linings Playbook. Like, those two are tied.
Nah, I don't agree with that. But, you know, there's probably a lot of Robert De Niro performances you haven't seen.
I don't care. I don't like Scorsese movies.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, of the ones that you've seen, that might be the ones that stand out. Have you seen Taxi Driver?
No. Have
you seen Mean Streets?
No.
Have you seen Godfather Part 2?
No.
Once Upon a Time in America?
No.
Ronin, Heat, The Score, anything. Yeah, of the movies that you've seen, of course, that's what you would say.
I don't like gangster.
All of these best movies, there's only like half of those were gangster movies. The rest of them weren't. Taxi Driver is really fucking good. I've rewatched it and it holds the fuck up. Anyway, no.
Yes, nerd news.
No. Here on Nerd News, it's the time that it is.
It almost sounds like nude news, which we should probably...
Well, I don't have any pants on, so yeah. That's what's up. I'm just going to play this into the mic. I've just got this saved as well. These two British dudes, or they might be Scottish actually, doing just doing little sketches, and this one kills me. Hang on.
Afternoon.
Sorry?
I was just saying afternoon. It's just what you do when you're passing the countryside, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. Afternoon.
Just to give him credit, that's Joke Television, one word, on Instagram, and they are fucking hysterical. Like, really, really fun. Let's go down the line here. Kyle Chandler, my main man, Kyle, fucking great actor, has been cast as Hal Jordan in the Lanterns TV series. How about them apples, huh? Lanterns is described as being a gritty, true detective vibe that focuses on Jordan's reluctantly mentoring a young lantern, John Stewart. The story sees the two characters investigate earthbound murder with larger implications. Fucking yeah. It would have been good if it was Josh Brolin, but I'll take Kyle. How do you feel about that?
Should have been Chris Pine.
Nah, I feel like he's had his go. He's had a go at lots of stuff. Give Kyle a go, you know? That guy's been working solidly for a long time.
You know who would have been like the best? Hal Jordan?
Ryan Reynolds?
Yes, probably. But also, like, Harry Styles would have been fucking perfect.
Are you fucking soft? What are you talking about, Harry Styles? My balls, mate. My balls, Harry Styles could pull it off. He could be the kid. He could play Jon Stewart in an amazing racial flip that would have everybody, you know... Would that'd be interesting, actually.
No, it wouldn't.
If they... No. I'm just not... It wouldn't be interesting. It'd be fucking ridiculous that you can't change, you know, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, to a white British child who spits on Chris Pine. Yeah, I know that didn't actually happen. I just like to say it.
3 months of my life defending that.
I know. Do you remember... No, of course you don't. You weren't even a fucking cum yet. In 2003 or whatever, whenever that Daredevil movie was made, they cast the beautiful and wonderful Michael Clarke Duncan as Kingpin. And the internet, what the burgeoning internet that it was at the time, nearly fucking ate itself because they're like, oh, it's a fucking black guy playing the Kingpin. What would you reckon would happen now if they like racially swapped Jon Stewart to white?
I would burn down James Gunn's house.
Yes, I think James Gunn would burn down James Gunn's house. That's a fucking... He'd have lost his mind. Anyway, more to the point, Kyle Chandler is a good choice.
He was good in... That's weird because he's like dead for majority of that film, but he was good in Manchester by the Sea.
He is good in Manchester by the Sea. He's very good in Wolf of Wall Street. He's in one of those Godzilla pictures. And he had a TV series on Netflix with Ben Mendelsohn called Bloodline. And that's really fucking good. Really good. Like Florida set crime intrigue kind of shit. Yeah, I really like it. So well done, Kyle. I'm happy for you. And I know you'll reach out if you need any help there. Gladiator 3... is already in development with Ridley Scott. What?
Wait, can you go back to the Hal Jordan thing? Because I actually do have a really great...
I've moved on now. No, I'm joking. What's up?
Wait, you're stuck for me.
I'm stuck for you. Like that new porn trend. Oh no, she's stuck. Get her out with your dick. What are you talking about?
What the fuck?
It's this new porn trend that everybody's talking about girls who are stuck, and they're like stuck under a thing or stuck in a washing machine or stuck under a bed, and for some reason that they think and people think that putting a penis in them to help pull them out is going to be the remedy for that. I don't think it's the remedy at all. I think you'd probably butter baby oil or something. Anyway, P. Diddy. What is going on? What are you saying? Hal Jordans?
Jason Bateman as Hal Jordan.
Oh.
Like, how could you not? How could you cast Nathan Fillion and not go to Jason Bateman for Hal Jordan?
Yeah, good call, actually. That's a really good call. Sorry, Jace. Too busy making Ozarks, I guess.
That show ended like 3 years ago.
I don't know. I'm busy with other things. Gladiator 3, apparently, is already in development by Ridley Scott. I'm already toying with the idea of Gladiator 3. The ending of Gladiator 2 is reminiscent of The Godfather, with Michael Corleone finding himself with a job he didn't want and wondering, now, Father, what do I do? So the next film will be about a man who doesn't want to be where he is. Did you just give away the fact that Paul Mescal's character definitely lives at the end of that film? Like, fucking, maybe shut up, everyone.
But also, isn't it a fucking prequel? Like, he's supposed to live by the end of...
No, it's a sequel. It's absolutely a sequel, yeah, because they talk about Maximus Aurelius, who was Russell Crowe's character, and that Paul Mescal's character was a boy when he saw those fights at the Colosseum. So it's probably set like 20 years after. And he ends up wearing his armor. In all the promotional material, you see him wearing Maximus's armor. It's still so fucking weird that there's a Gladiator 2. I just can't even tell you about it. Are you ready? You pumped for that, Paul Mescal?
Yes, as long as I see him naked.
Or at least partially. So he's the other one. He's the one of the three. It's him and Adam Driver and Colin Farrell, who I'm really digging at the moment, and Pattinson, I think. I
go back and forth with Pattinson, but I get what you mean.
Depends on the project, I guess, yeah. The Batman 2, or the Batman Part 2, first story details have been officially revealed. It's going to dig into an epic story about deeper corruption that goes into places where Bruce Lee's in it now as well. That's a big twist. He plays Batman. Couldn't anticipate the first one. The seeds of where this goes is all in the first movie and expands in a way that show you the aspects of a character that you've never seen. Cool.
Oh, I have a theory. What if the flood is what like broke Mr. Freeze's like wife's chamber cage thing? And
Mr. Freeze's wife's?
Dude, I don't know her name. I'm sorry.
Nora.
Yes. What if the flood is what broke her containment facility, and she dies, and then he becomes Mr. Freeze?
Can you imagine though? Like, the Batman made probably $1 billion. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for Matt Reeves to go, "Yeah, I'm bringing out Mr. Freeze in the sequel. What of it?"
That was like the biggest fucking rumor, though, right? Because
there's a really interesting way to do it. Like, if you look at Heart of Ice, the original animated series episode that featured Mr. Freeze heavily, and that whole backstory that was created in that cartoon, it wasn't comic accurate at the time. There's a really interesting way to do that. If you do the Penguin as a gangster whose nickname is the Penguin and he's not an actual fish man like he was in fucking Batman Returns, you can absolutely do a real world Mr. Freeze who is just a person who is afflicted with this condition that requires him to remain cool all the time. You know? There are
actual things similar to that people do have to, be in a certain temperature to actually be able to breathe, because sometimes our bodies betray ourselves like instantly. So
they absolutely do. Those people have to live in, iron lungs and the boys in bubbles, and there's that horrible condition where your skin just peels off, and leprosy and, kleptomania and all that stuff.
Yeah. So it would be great if like
I like how you just said, yeah, kleptomania is like the pathological desire to steal, but yeah.
I'll probably have that.
Yeah, I know. You've rooms. Look at all those big screen TVs and jet skis and stuff you've got in the background there, and gold bullion. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. Addie's the Penguin.
I would love that. I would fucking love that. I would kill it as the Penguin.
You would, man. You would absolutely smash it. Or Mr. Freeze. And I'd be keen to see that happen. Did you see the Thunderbolts trailer? I have no feeling about it one way or another. I do feel like Florence Pugh looks really bored. She does. I'm sorry. She looks really bored. I mean, and you can't go, oh, it's the character, because it's fucking not. She was bebopping and scatting all over the fucking last time we saw her in Hawkeye.
I'm really excited for it. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I'm open to anything really. It didn't make me go, I got to rush out and see that shit. However, almost the same day, the trailer for Ryan Coogler's Sinners was released. How good does that look, though?
Have you seen Michael B. Jordan's fucking arms in that trailer, dude?
Ridiculous, man. You know what he looks like? Do you know what he looks like?
Jesus.
He looks like rounded. He looks like Jesus. He does. Yeah, the end. No, he looks like beautifully rounded and sculpted, like a fucking
statue.
Yeah, like I was trying to think of the statue of David. Like it looks like he's made out of marble. Like absolutely incredible. And also he's fighting vampires, so I'm
plus,
fucking in.
like he's playing his own brother as well, which is fucking insane.
It's going to be a really interesting picture. It's good to see Ryan get away from Marvel, honestly, because they could have, like you said, signed him up to do all the X-Men movies or whatever, and his career would have been completely waylaid by that universe, and we've seen that go astray in previous times, and people get to maybe not do some of their best work. So yeah, I'm ready for that too. Yeah,
I almost know exactly how this was the Blade script. He was like,
say one more time.
This was the Blade script. This was.
You reckon?
Yes, dude. He worked on that script for like 2 years, and
Is that right?
Yes, and like Bo DeMeo was also like one of the head writers on that, and so they both worked on it for 2 years. And I bet he said we need Michael B. Jordan for some part, and Marvel's like, well, he's already played one character, we can't have him. But yeah. I am pretty sure this was the Blade script.
He's a bit soft to play Blade. Not soft as in like he's not tough. He is tough, but his features are too soft. I feel like he's got too much earnestness. I think Mahershala Ali is actually good casting for a new Blade, but I just don't see that movie working in any way. Oh, also, fucking nerd news. Chris Christopherson died. Along with Maggie Smith?
Yeah, I'm not thinking about that. I'm compartmentalizing because holy shit, that was my childhood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris Christopherson's an incredible career as a musician and a performer and an actor. Exceptional career and by all reports a fucking lovely guy. And what I really enjoy about that is him and Wesley Snipes were pals. They were chums. They used to hang out, on the Blade sets and stuff and just, I don't know, do two very opposing things because they are very opposed as people, but still found a mutual love. Good night, sweet prince. What a talent. I only mentioned it because we're talking about Blade.
Maggie Smith was also just a legend.
Yeah, oh yeah, what a incredible career that woman had, just and almost more famous after she sort of aged out from what would be your typical ingenue roles, and like normally actresses kind of disappear for a little while and then they pop up again later when they're old, but she was working consistently and then got more famous,
Yeah.
Like Helen Mirren or Kate Winslet starting to,
Kate Winslet is not old, dude. Come on. No.
I'm just saying she kind of burst onto the scene with this, amazing run of films. Holy Smoke and Titanic. The one that she did with Peter Jackson.
Oh, Heavenly Creatures?
Heavenly Creatures, Eternal Sunshine, all that stuff. And then she's kind of doing some interesting work. There was like, Little Children and some big stuff, and won the Academy Award for The Reader and all that. But it was like nothing big box office. And now she's coming back doing this huge film, Lee. And yeah, I don't know. She's certainly not old. She's like 2 years older than me. And I'm a fucking freshly plucked chicken. Speaking of freshly plucked chickens, it's Lord of the Rings.
Talking about Kate Winslet, she's in a very low budget period film called Ammonite.
I love that movie.
Oh, fuck yeah. Okay. So
So great. Yeah, I remember I watched it. I did 3 Saoirse Ronan films in a row in one night. I watched Lady Bird, Ammonite, and
That one?
This Is How We Live Now.
I did the exact same
I want to
thing.
do an episode
When the fuck did you do that?
Really? Yeah, I just like, remember we talked about it. It was like a year ago, such and such. That has one of the most well-staged sex scenes I've ever fucking seen. Like, it's so hard. Well, I feel like it would be really hard. I've never had to do it. I feel like it would be really hard to do in particular, a lesbian sex scene, because there's the stereotype of it being, 2 chicks and it's always sexy and and like that's, probably true, but moreover, to make it intimate and to have there be like a power position going on, and I don't mean like a power over someone, but like who's running the game kind of thing, and who instigates and all that stuff, and to have it feel real and heated and all that stuff. Like, it was sexy as shit, but it was also very
It was passionate,
matter of fact,
passionate and emotional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't like, you know, someone licking cream off someone's titties or whatever the version people have in their head, the jock version of what a lesbian sex scene is. It was just two people of the same sex being intimate and having intercourse. Like, yeah. And it's a really beautiful film as well.
Yeah. It will leave you devastated.
It will, yeah. That's the whole thing. What was your other nerd news?
Well, okay. So October has started. This is the 1st of October.
It has, yeah. This is the 1st of October today.
Yes. So 3rd of October is stacked, and I'll tell you why. The Legend of Vox Machina Season 3 first act drops 3rd of October, which is first 3 episodes. Heartstopper Season 3 drops all episodes October 3rd.
Is it particularly horror-based this season? Does everybody turn into a zombie or something?
No.
Is it literal Heartstoppers?
I would love that.
Just... That's a way to finish the series. Everybody's heart stops and they all turn into zombies.
Don't do that. It's a very like heartwarming gay show, man. Don't do that.
It can be gay zombies. Don't be a gay zombie racist.
Huh?
I don't know. That's insulting to zombies, insulting to gay people.
And racists, because they'll probably say
and
that.
Racists as well. It's insulting to racists, and we don't want to upset the racists.
Yes.
I'll come for you.
The Rings of Power Season 2 finale drops on 3rd of October.
Wow. What a day.
Right? And this is very niche, but Critical Role latest episode drops on October 3rd too.
Christ, you're going to be busy. What are you doing that day?
I don't know. A lot, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, what a night. Late December back in 63. What a very special time for me. Oh, what a lady! What a night. I just went... Christ. I went full Jerry Lewis. Lady! With the flavin'. Like that guy. He was just... Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Jerry Lewis, who absolutely isn't in Lord of the Rings, it's Lord of the Rings, friends. Fellowship of the Ring. The beginning, the tip of the spear, as we said. And yeah, what a fucking amazing picture it is. How often do you watch these?
Well, I religiously watch these every 6 months.
Are you serious? Every 6 months?
Every 6 months.
The extended?
I have to do extending.
Do you try and do them back to back? Because I finished Fellowship the other night and I was like, I want to fucking start the next one. Because they're like Pringles. Like once you pop, you can't stop with the Lord of the Rings. I just want all of that all in my face. Do you do the run of like in a day, or do you do them over a course of a couple of days?
No, I if I have the time, then I do it in the day. But then I start at like 6 a.m. It's
a pretty big set. I did it a few years ago. I can't remember when it was, and did them all. And I don't even remember. No, I do remember because I got COVID and they were doing it at the Astor, and a friend of mine went, and I had a ticket and everything, and I couldn't go because the fucking had that full-blown Rona. So I just stayed at home and did it with my Rona. What struck me that time, and again this time, is in particular this one, it has the same character structure like Frodo. You know, he's this sort of sheltered kid who's lived vicariously through the adventures of his uncle, and you know, but has a hero's spirit, a hero's heart, and wants to do good and wants to, you know, make the right choices and all that. It reminds me of the story in The Pacific, the TV show The Pacific, which is the spiritual sequel to Band of Brothers. And it's that sort of one particular character. Eugene Sledge was the name of the character. His story is like he can't go to war because he's got, you know, asthma or problems, and his dad won't let him go or whatever, and he eventually goes, and he's just this kid. He gets there and it fucking grinds him down to the point where he is a completely different person when he returns, which is, I guess, the story of a lot of war. And that's what these movies are. It could be the war of the Lord of the Rings.
Or the War of the Rings. The
War of the Rings, yeah, absolutely. It's because you start with this beautiful picturesque, serene, and you've got the great Ian Holm voiceover saying, this is what hobbits are like, and this is how we live, and there's that great introduction of all of them, and there's the comedy and the brightness to it. And then, we get to his birthday party and post-birthday party. As soon as the ring wraiths turn up...
Oh, it's a different movie.
Yeah, that's when it's game on. When they're on the road and he's like, we need to get off the road, and they've got that great a zoom shot of like the dolly zoom with the fucking wide opening and that practical nature of how they shot all this stuff. And it's, all of a sudden this is a journey film,
Yeah, it's so Kubrick though. Like, no subject, nothing. It's just a dolly zoom of a really creepy thing coming towards you.
But you know immediately what it is, and that fantastic squeal that you get. I think probably up top, I'll say that, there's a lot of CG in these movies. Some of it doesn't hold up, but to be fair, it's almost 25 years old, but it's still integrated. It's still, and the techniques, the actual camera techniques, things like forced perspective of having Gandalf sit closer to the camera than Bilbo, and having the props become become bigger as the table sort of draws away, become smaller as the table draws away to give you that thing, and using split diopter lenses and all that. And they're real horses that people are on. And, everything is an enhancement. When it cuts to a fucking shot of a vista of these guys running across Middle Earth, that's a helicopter. They didn't have drones yet. That's a helicopter capturing actors in full costume. Sometimes it's a little person pretending it's John Rhys-Davies, and sometimes it's a child pretending it's a hobbit, and they've done, again, some sort of matting or whatever when the actual actors are in the shots. And you're seeing those beautiful vistas. That's it. That's what it is. And I'm going to beat this like a dead horse. You can never match that. You can never capture that. It's why people look at old Hollywood movies and go, wow, what a time. Because as best as you can recreate something, we are biologically geared to see falsity in our surroundings. It's a survival mechanism. And you just can't recreate that on a volume or on a blue screen or anything like that. Or, you can build sets and everything and, extensions, whatever. But if you want to get big vistas, you've got to go somewhere with a camera,
Oh, 100%. And I think it's true that, nothing will ever top The Lord of the Rings, and just it's behemoth of a production.
Yeah, because they shot them all together over 18 months or something.
It was 18 months. It was, by the end of it was 3.5 years, I think. And because they shot it, and then they had to do a couple of reshoots, and then had to add a couple of scenes in. So by the end of it became 3.5 years. But it is a testament that nothing like this was done before, and nothing like this will ever be done again. Because no studio is going to give you millions of dollars to shoot 3 movies. They're supposed to be sequels.
Yeah. They did try it on Superman. Richard Donner was shooting both Superman the movie and Superman 2 concurrently, and got fired after one was completed and came out. And the Sorkins fired him and brought in Richard Lester to reshoot a lot of 2. And change a lot of it, but they were there's footage that exists in the Richard Donner cut that was shot for those 2 films being made at the same time. But yeah, I think also the thing that really stands out for me is, like I said, old Hollywood again. It's the performances. Everyone is really here. They are really in it, and the fact that Viggo Mortensen was a last-minute replacement for Stuart Townsend, who the story is that he was too young and it wasn't playing well with the hobbits. I think they got a whiff of Stuart Townsend's acting and was like, we need somebody else, and brought in the fantastic Viggo Mortensen, who is just a powerhouse in these movies, just such a presence. But yeah, everybody's there. The hobbits are great. They all play their parts perfectly. Ian McKellen, when that homie dies, and God hope that it's, or whatever, God, Buddha, the universe, whoever you believe in, believe this, please make him immortal somehow. If it's going to be someone, if someone gets some immortality first, it should be him.
Yes. It should only be him.
I don't throw around the word iconic a lot because I think it's really overused. People get, a coffee that's got caramel syrup in it. They're like, oh, iconic. No, it's not. No, it fucking isn't. That's not iconic at all. What's iconic is something that stands the test of time, okay? Ian McKellen's performance as Gandalf, the grey in particular, it's different. It's a different vibe when he's the white. But in this film is iconic. Like, he is... When he passes away, like I was saying, this will be the clip that they show will be him fighting the Balrog at the Oscars in the In Memoriam. The "You Shall Not Pass" gave me goosebumps again the other night. And I've got a pretty decent sized TV and a pretty great sound system. My fucking cat loved that scene. No, seriously, Clarky was in it. He was just going, fuck yeah. Oh, mate, go Gandalf, fight that Balrog. And I want to grab that whip. Like, he was really watching it. But anyway, more to the point. When he drops that staff down with the perfect "You shall not pass" and hits the ground, yeah, I got goosebumps. It's a fucking movie about fucking hobbits and stuff. Like, there's no reason that I should feel like this, but because everybody's taking it seriously and it's legit and there's the pedigree of Tolkien, it all works.
Sure, it's a film about a fucking ring, but it's also, at its core, The Lord of the Rings is about fellowship and companionship and trust and hope. And that is all there in Fellowship.
Yeah, it sets up the themes really particularly well. Friendship, I think, like paramount in terms of its themes because it is... I never saw that Tolkien movie, the one that they made with the Beast Boy. What's his name? Nicholas Hoult. But, the history around Tolkien's experiences in the war and in the trenches is pretty well documented. And this is that camaraderie. And any war picture you see or a book you read or whatever, that's what it talks about. You put people in a crisis together and they tend to band, like they tend to clan and become of each other's ilk. And that's absolutely what this is. There is no reason, as far as I can tell, in the lore of this world, of this story, for anybody to fucking like each other. And they don't. Humans don't like everybody, including themselves. Hobbits just want to be left alone. Elves hate dwarves and dwarves hate elves. Orcs and Uruk-hai hate everybody and want to eat. We're eating fucking man flesh tonight. Like, that it shouldn't work. And yet somehow at the end of Fellowship of the Ring, they understand, there's that great scene with Viggo and he's like, run, go now. And Frodo's going off alone. And he turns around those columns and there is 500 fucking orcs there and he pulls his sword and puts it up to his face and that just starts taking motherfuckers out for a tiny hobbit person. And then after he dispenses with them all and Boromir dies or Faramir, which one dies?
Boromir dies.
Boromir dies. And then they're down there and he explains to Legolas and Gimli, Frodo's gone off on his own, but we are not going to let those other two hobbits be eaten to death or fucked or both or whatever happens to them. Let's hunt some orc. And those three completely different species of beings run off for a common goal. Like, come on, people. Can we not see the shit that's going on? I fucking love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, it is... The Tolkien movie with Nicholas Hoult is good. I don't know how historically accurate that is. But the thing is, I think by that point, people really wanted to see how Peter Jackson made the films than to have Tolkien come up with the idea of the Shire, which is how it actually ends. Like, it doesn't go into detail with, like, and maybe it's because of rights issues and shit, but they couldn't, like, I don't think they ever referenced the Lord of the Rings in that film. Like, at the end of it, it's him writing in a hole in the ground there once lived a hobbit, and that's the end of it. And that works, but, like, the making of these films is now, it is a historical moment. And, like you said, the themes, it's all, like, See, this is why I don't know if I can do the 3 episodes or not, because after every sentence I'll just probably just fucking say that it's amazing, because I don't know how else to quantify the sheer amazingness of these movies.
And the ambition to do it. Because he pitched it after he made Frighteners, which is a fucking great movie, by the way. Have you seen Frighteners?
Yep.
I fucking love Frighteners. I think it's one of my probably top 5 favourite kind of like horror, thriller, supernatural shits. I just think it's excellent. And he went to them, and him and his wife, Fran Walsh, had written 2, hadn't they? And they pitched to New Line like 2 films and like put the 2 together. And it was New Line who, like at the time, pretty bravely as far as investing money in something and also taking this guy seriously, this horror filmmaker from New Zealand, said, no, this is 3. You need to make 3 movies. Super ambitious. There is absolutely no fucking way on earth a studio would do that now.
Oh,
no way.
Absolutely
not unless
not.
it was franchisable and outside of... Because Lord of the Rings wasn't franchisable at the time. They were like, we're going to make these 3 movies. No one was like, oh, then we'll do the Hobbits and then we'll do that. Like, they were just like, we're going to make these 3 movies and that's it.
It wasn't even we're going to make these 3 movies. We're going to make these 2 movies that hopefully can tell the story of the 3 books that we're adapting.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, dude, I will give you a very, very good example of that. Dune Part 2 wasn't in production when Dune 2 was happening. Like, they had to wait to get that green light.
Yeah, that's true. And yet, like, that makes even more sense because of the sort of franchisable nature of everything now. Anyway, and they still didn't give them the okay.
Yeah, and New Line famously lost a lot of money with Fellowship. Like, the only money they ever fucking made was with the Fellowship DVD release and the 2 Towers and Return of the King coming out in theaters.
Yeah. I think we'll talk about, the fan base, the fan kind of reaction to these films and how it perpetuates, across generations when we do Return of the King, just to sort of circle back. But just thinking about Fellowship in particular, how it doesn't... Like, you get Hobbiton and you get Bilbo, and you understand who Bilbo is, even though you don't know what the Hobbit is. The book, I mean, that story hasn't been told. And you get an introduction to Smeagol in this, but you don't understand. All you understand is that he found the ring and it corrupted him. You don't know
what happened.
Yeah, like the benefit of hindsight, obviously. But when I first saw these, I hadn't read the books. I only read The Hobbit when I was in high school, and these were huge. Like, everybody, you just went and saw them. And my girlfriend at the time was a huge fantasy nut. But you get it, and you get that Gandalf is a wizard who has a relationship with the hobbits. And you get that Strider is a ranger and is also the future king of every fucking body and all that. Only because Legolas is his hype man.
No, he's from the blood.
It's like, do you not know who this is, bitch? This is motherfucking Aragorn! Like, it's the Return of the King, bitch! Like, it is... That's such a cool moment. And he's like, don't you know who this is? And he's like, fuck, he just gave me away. I'm going to have to... Yeah, that's me. I'm Aragorn. Everyone's then sucking his sword. But my point is that all of this stuff happens and it's not expositional at all. No one's going, oh, by the way, apart from the beginning when Bilbo's explaining Hobbiton, but and the ins and outs and all the different families and all that stuff, but it's like cursory at best, and everything else you just catch up along the way. And no one's ever saying, oh, this is that and this is this and whatever. You just get it. Why is fucking Saruman evil? Fucking because.
Yeah.
I love a fucking because. GDT talks about it. Guillermo del Toro, he's like, why when you reach the door in the fable do you have to answer 3 questions before it opens? Because. That's the rules of this world that we've set up. You don't need to like logic your way into everything. It's that great thing of Grant Morrison said about adults is so fucking difficult to please and get around. It's like they all want to think, oh, that wouldn't happen, that can't happen. And yet you say to a child, oh, in this story, that fish girl, her best friend is a talking crab. And they're like, okay. It's just like, just get over. I love it. But yeah, just the conservative nature of the storytelling and how they get so much through without even trying.
This is something I realized like a lot later, but it is true. These films are made for the 21st century. They're made as action films, which is why they're like huge action set pieces in every film. Like you have the final battle in you have the Balrog battle in Khazad-dûm, and then you have, and at the end of Fellowship, the Fellowship breaking off and Boromir dying, you have that, and then you have Helm's Deep in Two Towers, and then you have the Return of the King, which is basically like a 4-hour long battle scene.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, here in Fellowship, it is relatively small. Like you've got, none of that happens. It's a lot of like hide and seek kind of situation, and Strider taking on the ring race when they stab Frodo after he puts on the ring for the first time, and or the second time rather, and then you've got the ring race and the water and is it Galadriel calls upon the horse, not Galadriel, sorry, who's Liv Tyler? Arwen calls on the horses and all that kind of stuff. And then even the end fight scene, there's a lot of fucking orcs and Uruk-hai and all that stuff. But by the nature of the war nature, they're just skirmishes. The only big battle scene you see in this is the opening Galadriel voiceover. This is the story of the ring and its creation. The
Last Alliance of Men.
Yeah. Why did we get 9? I feel like that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Giving us 9.
Well, you gotta watch the show to understand why you got the 9.
Oh, okay, right. Because she's like, 9 rings we gave into man who desired all above else power. Well, fucking don't give it to them then. Don't give them rings of power if they're not supposed to, if they crave it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Nobody thinks about this, but since it's Galadriel, an elf, giving us the prologue, and elves famously hate humans, do you not think she's actually fucking biased by saying that all they desired was fucking power? Yeah,
that's true, yeah. She has a great moment, though. The Cate Blanchett's she's up there too. What a stellar actress that person is. Yeah, like when Frodo says, if you ask, I'll fucking give you this ring because you are a total babe. No, he's like, I don't want this burden. And Elisha Wood's good. He's a little vacant in places, but he was young. I think like he got better as time went on, and he was definitely, he has the innocence to play this role in a really like tangible way. And this is a great moment to show that, where she's like, I don't dare take it because I would become, more than just a queen. I would be a god. And she's like, I passed the test. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah, and instead of a Dark Lord, you would have a Dark Queen. Yeah.
All will love me and despair. Like, it's such a good script. Like, I know a lot of it's out of the book, but you've also got to understand that like adapting it and having people say these things is very different than reading them. Like it could come off like fucking ridiculous. Like,
half of Star Wars.
No, not nearly enough. Like, what? Sorry.
See, it could come off ridiculous, like fucking half of Star Wars.
Definitely, I rewatched the first Star Wars recently, just as a curio, because I hadn't watched it in like 20 years. The first one, it does, some of it lands a bit flat. You also get the cool squid fight.
Yes, it's a kraken.
Of the shits. It's a kraken. I love a kraken, mate. I also really love everybody smoking weed.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's smoking some weed.
Yeah. Do you know that Gandalf the White has a cough because Gandalf the Grey smoked so much fucking weed?
Is that the story? Now that you're saying it, I remember it. Actually, yeah, he does.
Yeah, there's a moment in, I think, extended edition of either Two Towers or probably Return of the King, where he's on the balcony with Pippin, and he takes a puff and he just like starts coughing for like 3 minutes straight.
It's because he's come back with fresh lungs, for fuck's sake. Like, yeah, I mean, they're just so well made. They're top to bottom. I mean, all of the design work. I remember they talked about it in the behind the scenes features, bigatures, and the like oversized miniatures, the detail that goes on in these, you know, especially what's
Isengard?
Isengard, yeah, like and especially when they start chopping the trees down and, you know, building an army and all the orcs and the Uruk-hai come out. Oh, just a side note on orcs and Uruk-hai, fucking terrifying still to this day. The makeup on them is so legit, and they are so furious, and he shoots them with like that high shutter speed and or a high frame rate, and they are fucking terrifying. And when you hear something like they're in that great the scene in the tomb, you know, and or Gimli's people have passed away and or been killed rather, and what's his name? Legolas pulls the arrow out of the dead body and goes, "Goblins," and you just feel it. I'm like, oh fuck, goblins! Oh shit! Anybody? There's fucking goblins! Oh fuck me! Like, you know, I feel bad for him. And then he's like, they've got a cave troll. I'm like, I'm not a fucking cave troll as well. Shit, man! That's like getting your car insurance, your registration, and your roadside assistance all within the same week. You're like, well, that's fucking $4,500 I'm never going to see again. That's what they are. They're goblins, all of them.
And then on your way, you crashed into a bus.
Yeah, you were about to pay them all and you hit the back of a fucking lorry or something. Yeah, just really, they instill so much fear even now, and I'm a grown man. Especially the Uruk-hai, like...
Oh, yeah. The Uruk-hai are very interesting because, well, the creation of that species is like, you know, Sauron was a commander under Morgoth, and the last alliance of men was to defeat Sauron, who rose to power because Morgoth died. And this is a continuation of abuse, and like, you know, Morgoth abused Sauron, therefore Sauron abused everyone under his power to gain power. And like, what was my point again?
I don't know. You were talking about the creation of the Uruk-hai.
Yes. So, like, at first, this species was, you know, in the elves that died in the last lands of men. Sauron resurrected them because he's a necromancer, and there were elves who came back to life with black blood in them. And then through like generations of that process, they eventually like did that with humans, which is like the first orcs were actually Uruk, and then orcs came along, and then it was humans who were then turned into orcs that were called the Uruk-hai, which is what we see born. Right.
Okay. Out of those sort of mud sacks.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Again, that practical, you know, that's special effects makeup. You know, that's not Doomsday being born in Batman v Superman. You know, that's an actual thing. I'm just saying because they look similar, like they fucking do. Just while you're talking about Saruman there, Christopher Lee, like, just like he's a Tolkien purist, right? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was talking about Sauron, who has the eye. Saruman is the wizard.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Sorry, I want to talk about him. He's a Tolkien purist and was on set and was actually saying, you know, actually it's like this, and he was, you know, they were making changes and all that stuff. He also had a heavy metal band, which is pretty cool. But he's great, and I think Steve Sadak from the We Hate Movies podcast said it best on their episode for Fellowship of the King about the scene where Gandalf turns up and realizes that Saruman is working for Sauron, and they have a full-on wizard fight. If you do that now, I don't know what the show's like, how many wizards and shit there are. If you do that now, people are throwing fire bolts at each other and they're doing this, and it's like fucking, you know, goddamn Avatar, the Last Airbender. I mean, like, people have, you know, got powers. This is just two guys pointing staffs at each other and like force pushing them into walls, and how he's like spinning him around on his own head. Like, it's so visceral, and you know, this is a fantasy world. These books were kind of written for not with children in mind, maybe, but people think of them as children's books or think of this kind of stuff as childish. This is really brutal and really affecting.
Saruman disarms Gandalf, takes his staff, then uses his staff to hold his head down while he uses his own staff to spin his body around.
Yeah, it's like fucking being dildoed from both ends. You don't know which way to fucking come.
Yeah, but then that's pleasure. Wow, you jumped up.
It seemed like the thing to talk about. I don't know. We were talking about fucking wizards and stuff. Sorry, keep going. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pleasuring and this is torture.
Right. Do you think out there in the world there is a person or persons who have like screen accurate reproductions of those wands with dildos on the end of them?
Oh, definitely.
To fuck? There definitely is, right? Can we look into that, anyone? Can we have a look at that and send us pictures, please? Tommy, you love looking up weird stuff. Do that for me, mate. This is the Sharvipteryx of this episode. I want a wand. I want Saruman's, because his is the more impressive staff, I think. Though I do like the moment where Ian McKellen goes and like blows and it starts to glow. That's cool. But I like the design of Saruman's one better. See if we can get a Saruman stick, like a full one. I'm not talking about a little wand. I'm talking about a proper one. But the end of it, instead of being sort of a gnarly kind of tree thing with some powers, a fucking cock. A huge, big, grey, veiny dick with balls. It's a Wonder Balls. Wonder Balls. Anyway, stop talking nonsense, Addy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty loose. That scene's particularly good. I love where Ian McKellen. Sorry, Gandalf is on the top of the tower, and he's just giving him shit, and then he flies off on the huge bird and everything. I just want to take a minute to talk about the Hobbits.
Yes.
Again, we talked about your man Frodo. Great young actor. I really do like him. Sean Astin's great as well. Like, I feel like this is the role of his career. I was a huge fan of his when he was a teenager in Toy Soldiers and Encino Man. I think he's really solid. But the standouts really are, for me, in terms of arc, are Merry and Pippin. Mm-hmm. Because they are the ones, you fool of a took. Yes. They are the ones causing more problems and more issues. And, what about second breakfast? Like, they're just fucking annoying. And by the end of it, imagine being a creature that is half the size of everybody around you in this world. Like, they've lived in Hobbiton their whole life. They are, adventurous. They go into that guy's garden and steal his vegetables and shit. But you're out there and you're going up against demons and goblins and all sorts of shit. And, like, finding bravery is a really interesting thing. And it's not limited to hobbits. It's men and women and everybody. To find your bravery, to understand if you have it, as opposed to a fight or flight. Like, everybody's got a fight or flight response. It's a biological imperative. But to discover bravery, to put your body between someone you care about and harm's way, is the test of bravery. And I've seen people do it, and I've done it myself. But these guys are little tiny people. Like, it's like Clark, my cat, taking on a fucking Rottweiler. Like, it's I'll never not be amazed by their turn, especially when they're in that the goblins come through and the cave troll. They are absolutely responsible for starting the takedown of that troll. Well, no, only Pippin is. Fucking whatever. He's got his hype man down there going, yeah, brother, nice one. We're gonna have fucking second breakfast after this. We're gonna have fucking third breakfast after this. I think Merry and Pippin, of all the Fellowship members, Merry and Pippin are like weirdly our forte into this world. Like if I was a fucking hobbit on that journey, I would be fucking Pippin. Yeah, I mean, I would be Dead. I'd be dead. I'd be immediately dead in all of this. I'd probably stub my toe, get gangrene, and fucking drown in a lake. I am the clumsiest. I'm so clumsy. The other day, when I was walking down the stairs holding a box, Emily said, "Careful," and it was the first time she's ever kind of done that. No, it might be not my age, perhaps, but yeah, I wouldn't last long in this crazy world. I'd fall on my own sword.
That's why you should stick in the Shire.
Yeah, I think I would stick around. It sounds like the fucking Tucker's pretty good, honestly. Like, there's a lot of food there, and it was like sausages, tomatoes, nice crispy bacon. Like, I don't eat crispy bacon, but fuck, it sounds good. Yeah, I really do love those characters, and they go on such an interesting journey together, and even more so than Frodo and Sam in a lot of ways. Just speaking about the cast again, we touched on Viggo Mortensen, who is one of my favorite actors. Like, what a talent! History of Violence is an incredible performance. The films that he's done with David Cronenberg, Crimes of the Future is particularly good. History of Violence, Eastern Promises, just great. Yeah, I even like Hidalgo. I think that's a really good adventure movie. His genuineness and his commitment to the craft of acting sells this role. Like, it could be your typical hero, but he gives it so much pathos. When he's sitting there looking at the sword, the broken sword of his forefathers, and the weight of it, you feel that, and you feel that in the relationships that he cultivates around him as well. And he knows he's a hero, but he doesn't want to be a hero, but he can't help but be a hero. And he sacrificed everything. He doesn't want the love of his life to be mortal, and to for her life to suffer because he is human. There's so much going on behind his eyes. It's so much that's unsaid. I feel like there's a version of this movie where he has a lot more dialogue, and it's explaining how he feels more. But in this, it's just the stillness that makes him such a great character and such a great actor to doing that role.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something weird, but it is true. Looking back, I think probably Aragorn was my sexual awakening, but it's only because
a fucking lot of people's.
Yes, but also, like, Aragorn is what a reluctant hero is, but like we don't start with him on the start of his journey. We're almost at the end of his journey when we start with him, and it's more of an acceptance of his lineage and his heritage, and just like the way he like so delicately handles Narsil, which is the sword in the museum in Rivendell. It's like you don't see that ever in real life either. So like it's amazing to see someone with that much respect for something that could easily be mistaken as useless. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel, that's perfectly articulated by the fact that Boromir comes in and kind of just talks about it like it's a broken relic, when really the whole story is in that sword. The whole story is about that sword. The Rivendell sequence is really interesting to me because it's not only like the third or fourth time that Frodo's gotten his ass kicked and like, fuck, we just begun. But it's, you know what I mean? He keeps getting fucked. I'm like, this guy's going to make it to Mount Doom, my fucking ball sack he is. There's no way he can't even go 4 steps without getting bitten by something or stabbed or attacked by a golem or a goddamn squid person. Anyway, but they're there. And it's like, it's before the actual fellowship part, of which is one of my favourite parts in the film, where they're all arguing and all that stuff. And Frodo says, "I'll take it." And the look on Gandalf's face and the performance of Ian McKellen of realising not only, God damn it, like he's going to have to do it, but also thank God he's going to do it because he's the only one who could not be corrupted. I know there's that moment with Aragorn where he's like, "I would never take it from you," but nobody knows that at that time. Just a beautiful scene. But the scene before that, where it's Elrond and Gandalf, and he's like, "Hey, motherfucker, would you get your fucking shit out of here? Like, don't bring rings up in here. Don't bring rings of power in here. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get all my people out of here. We're moving on. We've got fucking so much packing to do. You have no idea how many swords and friggin' elf things and goddamn arrows and spears and all sorts of stuff we've got to pack up. The fucking moving truck is coming tomorrow. All right, they're orc adjacent, so they're fucking really expensive, but we need them because they can lift all the heavy things. I mean, fuck, man. Get your ring and get the fuck out of here and take those smelly little fucking hairy-footed shits out the fuck and stop smoking all my weed, man. Every time you come here, you fucking smoke my weed, you bring fucking rings of power with you, and you bring smelly, smelly little people. And I didn't do it in an Australian accent. I did it in an Australian accent because Hugo Weaving is Australian. So there you go, folks. Enjoy. Oh, sorry about that. That was
quite the...
It was quite there was moving day and people helping them move. Like, who needs to help elves move? Anyway, it's a great scene. What were we talking about? Aragorn?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you bring that up because at that point, not only Elrond is wearing the Ring of Power, which is like 3 to the elves, right? Elrond is wearing one, and Galadriel wears one too. And so,
yeah.
the elves' end is that they come from Valinor, in ships, and they populated Middle Earth, and then eventually they go back. Right? It's like their afterlife, but they don't physically die. It's described very spiritually, in the books.
That's cool.
And it's not explored a lot in the films, which I like. But yeah, it's like there's hypocrisy there where they are so corrupted by that power now that they don't even realize that what they're saying is hypocritical to what's actually happening.
Yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy and they are at the top. Can I just ask though, rings of power and everything, and this one, the one ring is, gives you invisibility or whatever and has power over all the others. What do the others do? Like, you never really see that.
Well, you don't, because, well, the ones that were going to dwarves were just, they were just like, so the rings that were given to the elves were to prolong their life and their stay in Middle Earth, because, well, the Lord of the Rings takes place in the third age of Middle Earth, where the Earth is round. But when Rings of Power takes place, it's the second age, and the Earth is actually flat. And
oh fuck! Don't start chiming in, everybody. We're not interested in your flat Earth shit.
That's how he wrote him, and that's how Tolkien wrote it.
Yeah, and it's had a horrible effect on a small sect of society. My goodness gracious,
me included.
Throw a ball in the air and see which way it goes. If it doesn't go straight up or down, it's because we're a fucking curved planet. Oh,
no,
science.
It goes wherever I want it to go.
It's like when people say, what do you mean evolution's not real? Are you fucking kidding me? There's proof. There's fucking biological proof that we evolved from monkeys. Anyway.
No, we evolved from ape, not monkeys.
I'm getting more... Yeah, that's true. We evolved from apes. You're absolutely right. I'm getting more upset than Elrond on moving day. That's the new giant fucking dick floating in the air joke now. It is Elrond moving day. Get your fucking shit out of my house, you fucking grey bearded prick. Anyway, yeah, okay, so, but the like, again, to my question about the rings though, it's like, at that one point, Arwen, it can call down like a horse wave.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a ring, does she?
Yeah, well, the elves are magical beings. Like, they possess...
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying no one ever goes... It's not like, Green Lantern where they put the ring out and it does something.
No. It's not that. It's more... I would say it's more internal. And the one ring making the ring bearer invisible is not actually... It's not actually power because the Nazgul are hunting him. So, like, if he wears the ring, they know exactly where he is. Like, they can see him.
And so does Sauron as well. Like, that's that. Yeah, it's almost, you know, a detriment for him to put it on.
But it's the shining lesson. Right? It's total power of seduction.
Well, that's probably a good segue into talking about the ring itself and the power that it does have. It's clearly a metaphor for all power and for power over people and stuff. And you see Frodo struggle with it. You see Boromir get taken in by it, and everybody does, really. You know, Galadriel and everybody. Like, it has an addictive quality to it. There is that, you know, and there is an addictive quality to the nature of conflict as well. It's why we've been doing it as a species since we could fucking walk upright. And before that, there is an addictive quality to being able to control others and being able to have power over others and all that stuff, and put it in I always forget the word. What's the word for an artifact in a movie that's like a part of the plot?
MacGuffin?
A MacGuffin. The ring's kind of a MacGuffin, even though it's in the title. Like, it's such a really important thing. Just before we sort of start wrapping up, we'll talk more about Gollum, obviously, in the second one, because that's the big film. But his story, even though at the time we didn't know it, his story hangs heavy over this whole picture, and is like sort of activated by our understanding of The Hobbit as well. If you've read The Hobbit, you kind of know where that comes from and stuff. But him, Paul, just heard him squeak. You probably heard that on the mic, everyone. His, like, following them through the whole thing, the spectre of him, is such a really... If that was in a movie now, you'd be like, oh, he's going to be in the sequel. Or there's a sequel set up with him. But this, he's just a character who is, you know, on the far side of what's happening all the time. But you can feel the chase as it sort of ramps up towards him. It's such a good character. It's such an interesting way to do that character as well, because I feel like they hadn't figured it out yet, you know?
Oh yeah, that's definitely why he's not there in the first one. Like, they could only do some sort of movements with Gollum. That's why he's there. Like, you see him, but you don't see him, right?
It's just the shot of him coming up and the eyes in the light and the little hands and the image of him when they're telling the story at the start. You just see the silhouette of him. Such a great character design. I love it. Yeah,
and an interesting fact, the Gollum in Fellowship, I think, is played by one of the Hobbits. It's not actually Andy Serkis.
No, yeah, I guess it probably wouldn't have been.
See, I love the Lord of the Rings. And, you know, as much as I would have loved for it to be, like, even more lore heavy, I think it kind of works with, like, the story, the lore, and the action format that it follows. But, like, the most beautiful parts of this trilogy are, like, conversations between characters, like the conversation with Gandalf and Frodo talking about Gollum, and when Frodo says that it's a pity that that Bilbo didn't kill him.
It is a really, like, Shakespearean sort of level kind of... no, it's not really what I'm trying to say. The interactions that these characters have with each other say so much more about the story than any ring or any, you know, level of power or any explanation of what this world is and everybody's place in it. It is two characters, you know, standing next to each other saying, you know, you're late. No, I'm not. A wizard is never late. He arrives precisely when he means to, and they both laugh. Like, that is a true moment between two beings, two people. And you take the hat off and the beard and all that kind of stuff, take all that away, and it's just, that's what life is. It's just people. And it's relationships, and it's misunderstandings, and it's fear, and it's jealousy, and it's rivalry, and it's ilkism, and it's clanning, and it's just... You know, that is the species. That is all of our problems and all of our beauty all at once. And it just happens to be surrounded by a stunning design and a beautiful, beautiful place, which is New Zealand, obviously. Like, it's just, one of the most remarkable, magical places on Earth, and I can't wait to get there. And if I run into goblins, it'll all be worth it. It's such a great movie. I think this is still my favorite. I really do love all of them. I think it's an excellent series, and I forget how much I like them until I have the opportunity to revisit. So thank you for suggesting that we do these. Do we want to do like 3 favorite? We're running a bit long, so let's do like 3 favorite moments.
Yes, definitely. Also, when you arrive in New Zealand, I think there's like from the Hobbit films, they're like when you enter Erebor, they're like statues of dwarves with like axe. And when you land in New Zealand, and like when you're about to exit, you see these 2 dwarven statues.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that again in the Return of the King episode, about just like what this did for New Zealand as well, in terms of it being a hub. I mean, Weta is now one of the premier special effects houses in the world because of this movie. They were doing stuff that nobody else was doing, and they completely rewrote the rules of how you do it, and the technology that they use is still the most advanced that they're using now. And New Zealand as a place and as an understanding and as a destination, it's fucking what Crocodile Dundee did for Australia, honestly. But less of a parody. So yeah, we'll chat about that a bit more. But what are your 3 favorite moments? Let's go sip, sip, sip.
I think I always tear up when I hear the Shire theme. I think there has never been a moment where I'm watching that and the Shire theme kicks in and I don't tear up.
Howard Shore's RIP's score is absolutely outstanding. It is one of the most beautiful, again, old Hollywood style scores. It says so much tonally about the world that we're in and the stakes, and that it's not silly. And yet it is very sweet and fun in places. It's probably one of the top 5 greatest scores of all time.
Yeah, it is whimsical yet melancholic.
Yeah, because we all know where we're going. Yeah, so absolutely. So yeah, Hobbiton. Mine would be, I think, probably the first moment when you see when Aragorn says no to the ring. And he's like, I would have followed you. I would have followed you all the way. I would have gone with you all the way. And he tells him to run. And then he turns around and the crane, the techno crane comes up over the top of that thing, and it reveals the zombie-like horde of orc and Uruk-hai. Or there's only one Uruk-hai at that point, isn't there? There's the big boss guy.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just orcs and fucking all those things. And he just pulls his sword, puts it to his, the hilt to his face, as a ceremonial, I'm about to kill all of you, look. And Mortensen's just takes him the fuck out. I love it.
Yeah. Viggo Mortensen is fucking amazing. And Viggo Mortensen now is at the age where Ian McKellen was when they did Fellowship. That is just, it's insane bizarre to even think about, right?
That's crazy, man.
I think I'll talk about Aragorn more going forward, because this is him taking charge of his eventual destiny. But for me, I think You Shall Not Pass just is it is as iconic, and I would argue even more iconic than I Am Your Father.
I think culturally, it sort of means as much. I think Star Wars fans will fight you on that.
I don't care. I have fucking narcissism.
No, I know. Only because that revealed something about the plot that nobody knew. That was pretty huge that we found that out. If Gandalf had done that and Frodo found out the Balrog was his father or something, maybe. But yeah, I think in terms of just a moment, yeah, absolutely it is. And I'll tag team that. I'll piggyback on that and say, yeah, again, it gave me chills. I was standing close to the fire. We've got a Canara at home, and it was cold that night, so the fire going. I was standing close to the fire, and I was like, damn, this is fucking getting toasty, this scene. Oh, hang on, there's a fucking actual lit fire behind me. Yeah, and just such a commanding performance from an actor who had a fucking hell of a couple of years. I mean, he'd done amazing work, and been in some really good films, Our Pupil and The Shadow, which I still really dig. I know a lot of people don't like the movie, but I like it. And as a stage actor, amazing, and was in his 40s or 50s when he was doing all this stuff, and turn around, do 2 franchise performances in the space of 2 years, X-Men and this, and became a global superstar. Fantastic,
And then did the Hobbit trilogy.
Whatever. I've got to get the second bathroom on my house.
Also,
a wizard just doesn't build his own bathroom. A wizard makes movies and then has people build it for him. Bitch.
That's it. That's the one.
I love it. Oh, what I actually love, I don't know if you sent it to me or I just happened to see it like just after I'd watched it. You must have sent it to me. It's the scene in Rivendell where Frodo wakes up and he's like, you were supposed to meet us at the Dancing Pony or whatever the fuck that place is called, you prick. And again, there's that long dolly shot in on Ian McKellen's face and he's like, I was delayed. And it cuts to that wizard dancing at a rave. Fuck. That might be the best meme of all time. I fucking love it. I'd never seen it either. Like, it was, I think the person wrote, it's an oldie but a goodie, and I hadn't seen that one. Fuck, I laughed in hysterics because it's just, it's just my brand of silly. I was delayed. When I came down, after my fucking edibles kicked in, I danced for 95 minutes, and then I met David Lee Roth, and it was a wonderful time. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Where were we again? What's your number 3?
I see. Lord, you go first.
Okay. Oh no, I've lost it now. I had it in my bag. Oh, it's These no discernible order, obviously, but it's Elrond saying, "Would you fucking move it?" No, it's Sam like swimming into the lake after Frodo.
Yeah,
he's like, "You can't swim." Like, stop coming. He's like, "No, I'm coming after you, man." Gandalf said not to lose you, and I don't mean to. Like, that's a beautiful moment, and I know there's all that fucking, thing on the gay-coded nature of their relationship and all that stuff. Like, who fucking cares? Like, if it is or if it isn't, it doesn't matter. It's about 2 beautiful people connecting, like sharing trauma and sharing an adventure and, sharing a friendship. It doesn't matter if they were fucking sucking and fucking and doing whatever after hours that we didn't see. It was that moment of him saying, "No, I'm gonna show you how much you mean to me by doing something that I cannot possibly do to follow you to this destiny that you've now set yourself upon." Like, yeah, it's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah, it is.
I'd wade into a lake for you, buddy. I can swim pretty proficiently, but I don't really like bodies of water that I can't see the bottom of because there could be fish or any fucking thing under there, or fucking squids, or those ones that are stonefish that pretend they're stones and you stand on them and you're like, back, and you all that stuff.
Yeah.
They do. They said it was the standing on a stonefish is the most painful thing that can happen to you. The worst pain known to man is the report back on that. I don't know who decided that, but so yeah, I try to avoid that. But I just swim out to you, mate. I don't even touch the bottom. I just swim out. I'm pretty good. I swim all the time, and we could get in that boat and fuck right off,
Yeah.
Because you'd be the ring bearer and I'd be the fucking fat idiot.
Says the fate slim of the 2 of us.
Oh, this is all CG. What is your third favorite?
It's a shot. It's probably like a 2-second shot, but it's when Gandalf takes Sam and Frodo out of the Shire, and at the start of their journey, and it's their silhouette with the purple sunset in the background. And it's Gandalf's huge hat and Frodo behind him, and you see. You hear the pots and pans of Sam's bags, and he's running, catching up towards them.
That's beautiful. I was like, when we did the X-Men 2 episode, and I was like, one of my favorite moments is the fucking whipping of Nightcrawler's tail. Remember that we were talking about? It's just that moment where he whips the gun out of shot, and it goes whoosh, and I was like, it's just the perfect cut and also audio cut at the same time, and I was like, I want to masturbate.
Next time on your face, please.
Yeah, next time, whip it all up on my face, neck, and chest. Anyway, that's Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We do so appreciate it. We will be back. I know we've got questions, but we will be back next week, actually. We're going weekly for these episodes and maybe hopefully keep it up. I don't know. We're going to try, but definitely going to go weekly for these episodes. So we'll see you next week for the Two Towers. But in the interim, Addy, we've got any questions about the Lord of the Rings-based stuff?
Yep.
Terrific. Johnny, drop that theme tong. Theme tong? They're things you get sausages out of the oven with. Tongs.
Oh, I thought it was like a weird themed tongue. Like, you like dress it up as like a hobbit or like an Uruk-hai or something, like painted black and shit.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean that too. But what I would like to hear actually is the theme song. Thank you, Johnny. Thanks, Johnny. He's actually in my office right now playing live. Cheers, mate. Appreciate you.
So the one question is, what director would you like to see take on a fantasy world of their own in the vein of the Lord of the Rings? So like, you know how...
So not like what Zach just did with Rebel Moon.
Yes, not that, but like a director like Zach, right? Or like any director.
Raymond E. Feist, a fantasy writer, wrote a series of books some years ago, and it started with one called The Magician. I can't tell you when it was published, but there was a heap of them. There was that, Silverthorn, Darkness at Sethanon, Door of the Empire, King's Buccaneer, The Blood Prince, The Prince of Blood, Servant of the Empire, Mistress of the Empire, Jimmy the Hand, Condor the Betrayed, like fucking dozens and dozens of books in this series. And it's sort of half kind of like magic, but it's also like there's portals to other worlds and universes. Probably still my favourite, the first three, Magician, Silverthorn, and The Darkness of Sethanon is the first trilogy, and it's about this one guy named Pug, who's the magician, like in training, and it's sort of his story. That is the series that I would like to see adapted. It would be really good, like as an Apple TV series or something like that. And GDT should do it, because he was supposed to do these. He was supposed to do The Hobbit, and then that kind of fell through. I would love to see him get back to some real fantasy. He did it so great in a way with Pan's Labyrinth and kind of Hellboy as well, I guess. But yeah, and as much as I love Shape of Water and Nightmare Alley, I feel like him in a big fantasy world is it's just waiting to happen. So yeah, I'd say the Magician series, those three series of the first books by Guillermo del Toro. What about you?
Hey, speaking of Guillermo del Toro, I saw a picture of him with like Tom Cruise and like a bunch of other directors, and he was with a cane, and I got scared.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fingers crossed he's all right. Maybe he had a sore leg or something.
Hopefully.
He had a great video that he posted when he had an interview with about Pinocchio, and it's been doing the rounds about him talking about AI, and he's like, what AI has done is make semi-interesting screensavers.
Yeah, that was very recently though. It's a recent interview.
Yeah, I know. But I think it was a recent interview. Yeah, but he was talking about Pinocchio, which was a few years ago. Which is such a brilliant film, by the way. If you haven't seen his Pinocchio, it's exceptional. But the sorry, I can hear my cat meowing again. They just want attention. He goes on and he's like, it's all fine and everything, whatever, but can something created by AI make someone who's lost their loved one understand? Like, can it make somebody who's lost their father or their son or their mother grieve properly? Can it help them grieve? Like, can it make someone who's misspent their youth feel better about that or feel worse about that? Fuck no, it cannot help you emote. You know what I mean? Like, the thing about art is that it should never be about how much it costs. It should be about how much are you willing to sacrifice to be in its presence. Such a beautiful sentiment. I fucking love GDT. I'd just like to sit and let him read me a book.
Yeah, preferably a Batman novel.
Yes, please. So who is what is your fantasy? Oh yeah, I suppose you don't have to tell me like what the series would be, but who's the director and fantasy?
There's a fantasy series by by Brandon Sanderson, who is this writer who just works and works and works. And is just very passionate about fantasy. And, I think his original story has about 13 books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's he wrote 3 books in the pandemic.
Good on him. How productive.
Wrote, edited, and published.
Love it. Fucking love it.
So yeah.
Love creators, man. Just get out there and fucking making it happen.
Yeah, and he's he's a diehard D&D player as well. And when he gets bored and he doesn't have any inspiration, he plays D&D and it inspires him again because D&D does that to people. But
yeah, right.
He's a very sweet guy, and just the way he talks about storytelling and why fantasy matters is any of his work being adapted by anybody, just being faithfully adapted, would be amazing for this world.
Any pick for creator?
I think I haven't read any of his books. I've only read summaries and some of story descriptions, but so I can't say. But a director that would actually fucking thrive in fantasy, and you might not agree with this, but I think Mike Flanagan would fucking kill in fantasy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely. It's so closely related to the stuff that he does already, because there's already a supernatural element. There's creatures that have similarity to the stuff he's done. Yeah, I completely agree. Well,
okay, shit. My answer doesn't count because he's doing The Tower, which is high realism and high fantasy.
Yeah, it's a lot of different stuff, that one. It doesn't really count in the same way. But no, that's a good call, Mike. If you're listening, hurry up. Anyway,
give Robert Eggers something more fantasy
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to Nosferatu.
Yes,
that's gonna be
but
fucking some
give him a story about a coven,
Yeah, absolutely. He could just make Agatha All Along, but make it legit horrific. I haven't seen Agatha All Along. That wasn't me throwing shade at that show. I haven't seen it.
It's pretty great. It's the queerest Marvel has ever been. You should watch it.
Fantastic. Well, while I go and watch Agatha All Along, you folks should go and rewatch Lord of the Rings and rewatch The Two Towers, ready for our episode next week. And thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed the episode. And yeah, we'll see you on back next time. On back next time when we're talking about fucking Helm's balls deep. I love you, mate.
Love you too, man.
Good to see you. Thank you for getting me back into these films. It's been really lovely. So thanks again, folks. We'll see you next time. And remember,
stay amazing, stay safe, and in a hole in the ground that once lived a hobbit.